While I was in Calgary, I was Deputy Medical Officer of Health, and I was responsible for communicable diseases. So that included the initial AIDS cases that were beginning to be diagnosed. Subsequently, it became obvious that HIV was completely anchored in social determinants of health. So I ended up coming to Montreal to work on sexually transmitted infections in Montreal. I had a bit of a hiccup about, I'd say, 6 months into the job, where I came in direct conflict with the Minister of Health of the province because I had been asked to mount a campaign on condoms, and this was 1987. And the slogan that we decided we would go with was "Sans condom, c'est non." Without a condom, it's no go. In the end, I was told to cancel the press conference, cancel everything. And my husband said, "Let's fight for this." I convened a secret press conference, and we were able to get, obviously, the news across to the population that it was important, that HIV was coming, and it was going to be big in Montreal, which it ended up being quite big in Montreal.
The COVID-19 Immunity Task Force, I've been acting as its executive director since inception, and I had 2 co-chairs. I think all of us never anticipated the roller coaster that would be the pandemic, now looking back on it 4 years later.
And we had to think about, could we take from HIV the filter paper technology that we had used? Could we take that and use that for COVID that would allow us to do household surveys or surveys of, homeless populations, marginalized populations, Indigenous, remote, rural populations? And we're trying to do the pandemic preparedness component of this now. We're trying to draw the lessons learned when we're not even right out of what we're in for the next pandemic.
She was a terrific team player, always asking, how can we constructively move forward? Not lamenting that somehow we had forgotten something or something wasn't quite right. Kate just doesn't sit there and complain that the system can't change. She actually makes the system change.
Working with her gives you the impression that you are someone important, because she will always respect your view. She will always find the word to convince you and to direct you to her view and to explain to you why she's thinking this is the best way to go.
She's a people person. She is a person who understands that science goes beyond what we usually understand in terms of facts and figures. She understands that we are dealing with not just a pandemic in HIV, we are dealing with its social consequences as well. And she always brings all of that together. I'm deeply honored to call her a friend.
She can have a conversation with someone who's 15 and a conversation with someone who's 90, and will be thoroughly enjoying it. And she learns from them and gets excited by them, and that, for me, makes her the most wonderful sort of friend, because she can always bring something new and interesting and stimulate you to do better in your life.
Champion in HIV, AIDS research and policy, and dedicated advocate for global health and health equity, Canadian Medical Hall of Fame laureate, Dr. Catherine Hankins.